What's going on, people? Simply Recommended here. I'm here today doing a video for you guys. I'm doing how I would make X-Men Days of Future Past. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Let's get this show on the road. Okay, we start in the future, the year 2029, where we see Sentinels destroying all mutants and all humankind in the world, because, you know, of course, the mankind feared that mutants' special powers, they're going to be too powerful, they pose a threat, what have you. So the X-Men and the Brotherhood are fighting side by side, and we also have new mutants in the future. Of course, Bishop, you know, main character for the future, very important guy for the future in the comic books of the X-Men. We have Warpath, and also we have Magneto's children, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and we see each mutant getting killed, getting taken out one by one, including Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who are of course Magneto's kids. We also see Kitty Pryde getting killed, Iceman getting killed, we see Rogue getting taken out. So Professor X and Magneto tell the remaining mutants, you know, hey, everyone fall back. You know, we're getting killed out here, we're getting murdered, they're getting outnumbered. The Sentinels are destroying everybody, everyone. So, you know, each mutant, you know, fall back, and, you know, they get out of there. And, you know, they're trying to save, you know, all mutant and human race. So they go back to the hideout, you know, where both the Brotherhood and the X-Men, Bishop, Warpath, all these guys, you know, are lying together, you know, to try and save everybody. Storm even got taken out, you know, so to go back to the hideout, where also they created a new Cerebro because the X-Mansion is destroyed. So then we get Bishop, who gets the idea of saying, hey, why don't you guys go back to the past and stop the Sentinels from ever being created. You know, Professor X and Magneto said, you know, that's not a bad idea, that could work. So then they ask Logan, hey, why don't you, we get Logan, the mindset of Logan's past body, past mind, you know, because he's been around for years. You know, we don't really know how old Logan is, but he's been around for years. Right now, you know, as we see in 2029, it's kind of an old man Logan. We see a few gray hairs from the guy. And even Professor X says, you know, hey, if we do this, we're gonna alter the course of history. You know, things could be detrimental. You know, you might not be alive, Bishop. You know, so we gotta take that chance, because I could even die now. So hey, let me, you know, let's just take the chance right now. So say, alright, cool, Logan's with it, Professor X is with it, Magneto's with it, let's do this. So then we head to the present day, where we see Wolverine in the post-credit scene in the movie, you know, and then they see, you know, Wolverine sees, you know, like time stop, and we see, you know, Magneto and Professor X coming in, and he's like, what the hell are you guys doing here, you know? And he goes, you know, hey, we're from the future, we gotta tell you that, you know, there's a war coming which can destroy everybody, not just mutant race, but all mankind. So they tell Wolverine, you know, we need to go back to the past and find Magneto's and Charles Xavier's younger selves to stop a guy named Trask from, you know, making Sentinels, which will occur in a few years' time. So Professor X explains to Logan that, you know, we've created a time machine, which they created when they were once allies back in the 70s. So they go back to the X Mansion, and under the X Mansion, like the basement kind of thing, where there's a built time machine. So, you know, Wolverine accepts and says, alright, cool, time lies in my hands, I need to go, let's do this. So then Professor X uses his telepathy powers. Magneto also, you know, uses his magnetism powers to start the machine. And then we get Wolverine Logan. He goes back in time on a quest to find Professor X, a younger Professor X, and a Magneto. Now in the 70s, we see you know, Trask in his laboratory creating Master Mode. In Master Mode, you know, obviously his objective is to create new Sentinels to destroy all mutants, because now in the 70s, mutants have been discovered worldwide to everyone, and they're now seen as a menace. So then, you know, Trask is building Master Mode, and he's almost complete. So now, you know, we see a young Magneto, where he's with Mystique, and he's plotting and strategizing on a way to assassinate President Nixon, because Nixon also feels that, you know, mutants, they need to be jailed and experimented on. They're too powerful, and that, you know, hey, they may even take the normal guys out, you know. So Magneto looks at this and says, you know, this guy he's like Sebastian Shaw. So basically we've got like now a sequel of First Class, you know. So he sees Sebastian Shaw in President Nixon, so he's out to assassinate him now. So now we go back to Logan, you know, who's in his old younger kind of form in, you know, the past. This is the 70s now. So Logan goes and looks for Professor X, Charles Xavier. So, you know, he goes to the X Mansion, tries to find him there, and we find the disturbed and distraught and a now paralyzed Charles Xavier from, you know, the first great film of First Class. Logan then says to Charles Xavier, you know, hey, we need you, you know, you're an important guy to not just the mutant race, but all of mankind. Charles Xavier, you know, he don't care, he's not motivated, he doesn't care about life, he don't care about nothing, he's distraught, you know, lost his legs, he doesn't care about anything. But Logan is telling him, hey, we need you, you're important, the world's gonna be a different place, especially if you let this, you know, your pal Eric Magneto be leader and take charge of the mutant race. This guy is not the right guy. And Charles isn't hearing it, he don't care. He says, leave me alone, dip out my life, you know. And then Logan says, listen, just read my mind, see what you see. If you don't care, then I'll be gone out your life. But, you know, you really need to see where I'm coming from and see the future without you. You know, you play an important role. So okay, then Charles says, alright, cool, let me read your mind. And then it shows him the future. And we see an encounter between an old Xavier, you know, Patrick Stewart Xavier, and then we see, you know, a younger Xavier. And the old Xavier pleads and begs and says, please help, Logan, we need you. You play an important role to all of mankind. Sees the future, sees all mutant, you know, his students that he will encounter die, everyone dying, you know. So he sees, you know, the Sentinels and whatnot, and that they need to be destroyed. Charles is like, God damn, man, I gotta help you out. If the future's gonna be in peril, we gotta stop Charles, we gotta stop Mastermind, we gotta stop the Sentinels. I'm on board. Then, you know, younger Charles Xavier, he says, let me, you know, get the team back together, let's get the X-Men back together. It's been a while, you know. I've kind of closed down the X-Mansion. So then he calls Beast, he calls Havoc, and reunites the X-Men. And then they go after Magneto because, you know, like Magneto said, it's good to take the two of us. So go find the younger me, so that, you know, I'm on board. Show me what the future entitles as well. So then they go after Magneto, and then Charles, you know, says, I can't read his mind. I don't know where he is, because he's got that helmet on from Sebastian Shaw. I can't read his mind. So then he says, okay, let me try Mystique's. So he reads Mystique's mind, and Mystique shows that, you know, that Magneto is trying to assassinate President Nixon, and that they'll be going to Washington because Nixon's got a public speech. So the X-Men then take the Blackbird, head up to Washington. We then see Magneto and Mystique together in Washington, getting ready to assassinate President Nixon. And then you know, Mystique is old Mystique. You know, this is Mystique who still holds a Charles Xavier mentality. You know, that, you know, mutants and humans can coexist. You know, let's just try and talk to Nixon. You know, and Magneto ain't hearing it. Magneto don't believe that, you know, mutants and humans can coexist. So then he tells Mystique straight, listen, if you're not with me, pretty much you're against me. So he threatens her and says, hey, listen, if you're not with me, dip out. Otherwise, let's go do this. Let's go save our brothers and sisters. You know, we are the future. He's kind of got that Sebastian Shaw mentality, you know. You know, so he's been through, you know, the Holocaust because, you know, he's a Jew. So then they read the president's speech, and then they're going through, you know, the Secret Service. So the Secret Service start fighting Mystique and Magneto, and then, you know, with ease, Mystique and Magneto beat the Secret Service, sorry. And then Magneto gets like a bullet from a member of the Special Services to kill Nixon. And then, you know, just before Magneto gets the bullet, fires it with his powers to Nixon, Mystique stops him. Magneto's like vexed about it. Why would you do this? You knew my plan. You know, and starts to fight Mystique. Special Forces comes in now. They've been, you know, called upon to fight even Magneto and Mystique. And then, you know, they start fighting. And then Mystique tries to run away, gets away from Magneto. Magneto then goes and finds her, gets her, about to punish her for what he did, treason, Judas, you know. And then the X-Men show up, and they said, you know, hey, you need to stop this. You know, we got bigger plans to, you know, more important than everything. This is for the future. This is for mutants. And then all of a sudden, you hear gunfire, and then we see President Nixon die. And then we see the assassin, like, with the gun run off, and then he says, long live mutants, you know. And the crowd are distraught, everybody's distraught about Nixon dying, the president dying, and then everyone's blaming, you know, the X-Men and the Brotherhood. So then a fight breaks out again, and everyone's fighting, you know. They're now Magneto and the X-Men are aligned and they have to, you know, stop the special services, and then they try to flee the sea. Now that they get to the Blackbird and fleeing the sea, we go to a show of the media who shows the world about, you know, mutants having even a more bad reputation, and the humans are even more afraid of them. And then we see Professor X and Magneto in the Blackbird, and they're having a huge argument. You know, look what you've done. You've made mutants look even more worse than we are. You know, we can coexist with the humans. Magneto's blaming the X-Men and Charles for foiling his plan, and even Wolverine is trying to play like peacemaker and be like, listen, you guys need to stop fighting, we got bigger fish to fry, the future's in peril. Then the Magneto, he's a, you know, so Professor X then says, listen, let me show you what I've seen from the future. You know, Magneto doesn't trust Charles one bit, he's not letting him go through his head. So he asks Mystique, let's see what Charles has seen in the future. Mystique, you know, cooperates and says, okay, cool, let me go through my head, Charles, because they got parts and whatnot. He's cool, she's cool with everyone. This is a different Mystique from, you know, the present that we've seen. So Mystique then sees the future. She even sees like Magneto's children. She sees Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver even dying or whatnot. So then she tells Magneto, look, I've seen the future. We gotta help these guys. You know, not just mankind, but all mutant race. You know, we need to be saved. You know, so Magneto agrees. One last time, we'll coexist, because you know I love my brotherhood. You know I love my sisters. You know, so alright, cool. Then, you know, the subject about the assassin. What about the assassin? This guy, he took out the president. We need to find this guy. We need, you know, what about him? Do we take him out first? And it's like, well, time's been, you know, Wolverine said time's been altered, so I guess, yeah, we need to find the assassin. So they go back to the X-Mansion so that they can find who the assassin was and you know, imprison him for his crimes and whatnot. So Beast even volunteers to go after the assassin. Mystique also volunteers her services to go find him. Havoc's on board and says, yeah, let's go find this assassin, see what he's about. He said he's a mutant, so you know, he's saying long live mutants, so that's interesting. Well, I need to know who this guy is. So they go back to the X-Mansion now. They watch the news so that they can deliberate, they can see, you know, the tape, see if they can find what the assassin possibly even looks like, because he was like masked up, hooded up, all black. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're looking at the footage and they see the assassin putting on the mask, and one person sees his or her face and they look terrified. So then Charles goes to Cerebro. He hasn't used Cerebro in years to look at this, you know, witness, see what the witness saw, so he can identify, Cerebro can identify the assassin. Then Charles sees, you know, goes through the Cerebro, looks at the witness, you know, uses his telepathy, and then we see the witness looking at the face of the assassin, and the assassin's face has pale skin, got piercing red eyes, you know, and then Cerebro identifies the assassin as a mutant, and they said that his name is Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister. You know what I'm saying? So you got Sinister in this movie, playing a big role already. So then Charles goes to Wolverine and asks the assassin's name. Cerebro says the assassin's name is Nathaniel Essex, Have you ever heard of him? Has he been in the present? Have you heard of him from the future? Wolverine's like, nah, this name doesn't even ring a bell. Nathaniel Essex. But let's go find the guy to bring him down to justice. So Charles, Eric, and Wolverine say, okay, cool, let's go to Trask, because Trask needs to be stopped from making the Sentinels. And Havoc, Mystique, and Beast, they go after Essex. So now that we know it's Essex, we go to, you know, Mr. Sinister's laboratory, his secret laboratory. You know, where he's doing his ish. He's creating, he's experimenting, because he has that mindset of, you know, mutants are the superior race, and he wants to create a race where no one gets sick, no one gets hurt, everybody has longevity, or what have you. You know, he's kind of mad. So then, as he's experimenting, the X-Men comes in, they face each other, and then we get a battle between Mr. Sinister and the X-Men. And you know, as the battle's going on, just before Nathaniel Essex gets defeated, he throws the chemical to the X-Men, which causes a chemical explosion. So Mystique and Beast and Havoc are all down, and then Nathaniel Essex is intrigued by Havoc, so he gets a syringe and takes a blood sample from Havoc, and then he runs away. You know, Mystique and all of the X-Men, they get up. You know, where's Nathaniel? He's gone. So she calls Magneto, says, you know, hey, Essex got away. Eric then says, you know, hey, as usual, Mystique, you always disappoint me again. So Wolverine says, forget it, we go find him later, we got bigger fish to fry, let's go meet Trask, let's stop the Sentinels. So then, you know, Charles, Magneto, Wolverine, they then head to the building, the Trask building. You know, they go find Trask. He's completed making Master Mold. Obviously, Master Mold can supply the government with unlimited supplies of Sentinels to destroy the mutants. They then capture Trask and say, look, you need to stop this Master Mold. You can't control him. This guy he's just out there. He's gonna destroy everything. He wants to be a ruler. He's corrupt. You know what I mean? So then Trask says, listen, I'm just doing my job. I had to create, you guys are the enemies, I have to stop you guys. So everybody has their beliefs and whatnot. It's real crazy in the past, you know. It's crazy time. So then Master Mold creates about 5 Sentinels, brings out 5 Sentinels from his body, and says, attack the mutants. Mutants are identified, so let's start to kill them. So then Master Mold rises, we get another epic fight. Then a Sentinel then kills Trask, you know, by accident. But then, you know, Master Mold and Sentinels don't care. They're still trying to kill, you know, Professor X and Magneto. Wolverine fight still going on, and then Havoc and Mystique and Beast come in to try to even the odds, try to help take out the Sentinels. So then they destroy all the Sentinels, and then they destroy Master Mold's body, not his head, but his body. Just like the comic books, just like the cartoon, his head is still intact, but he's out of commission. You know, the eyes, the laser eyes is out. So they believe that Master Mold is dead. But you know, his head is intact, but the body is destroyed. So now that, you know, the job is done, Wolverine says thanks and says, you know, I need to head back, and then, you know, make sure the future and the present is all good. And how time has been altered, things have changed. So then we see Havoc disappear, but then we get Scott Summers, who, funny enough, is the big brother, the older brother of Havoc, because in this movie, in the First Class movie, Havoc is older than Scott, you know, so continuity issues there. So we get Scott now as the leader of the X-Men. Jean Grey, she now comes into the X-Men crew, and then, you know, we see Professor X and Magneto having a little talk and saying, it was nice working with you again, but, you know, I still have my beliefs. You know, Magneto's like Malcolm X, you know, by any means necessary I will save my brotherhood and whatnot. And Professor X is like, you know, hey, human race and mutants can coexist, you know. So he's the Martin Luther King of the mutant race. So then things have changed, been altered. Gambit's around. He's a part of the X-Men. Archangel is, you know, we're now staying in you know, the old time. We're still staying in the 70s. So, you know, a few years have gone through. We're heading into the 80s, to where, you know, new guys are coming in. So Gambit is now a member of the X-Men. We got Psychosis, Rogue now, Iceman, Kitty Pryde, Colossus coming in, Storm's coming in, Beast is teaching all the new students, you know. So time's been altered, and it looks like we got the original X-Men from comic book cartoon days, you know, because X3 just destroyed the story so badly. So everything seems to be intact. Wolverine is a part of the X-Men too, and everything seems to be back to original normality and whatnot. But then they forget one thing, and that's Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister. So we go to Mr. Sinister. He's in Egypt, he's in Cairo. He's going to a tomb, and in this tomb, you know, he's reading the hieroglyphics. And, you know, he's saying that, you know, he who awakens Apocalypse, the world will be doomed. You know, so definitely we're getting Apocalypse coming in for the Apocalypse Rise of the Apocalypse film, Age of Apocalypse film, I should rather say. And then Apocalypse then rises. He sees Mr. Sinister. He says, "You will call me master, and you will also stand by my side as I rule the earth." You know, because time has been changed. So I have been hibernating, asleep for over 10,000 years, and I'm here to rule the earth. Only the strong survive. You know, he wants all the mutants. He wants his own world where the strongest mutants can survive and kill the human race and whatnot. And, you know, Mr. Sinister kind of follows that suit. He also wants to create a better world where nobody gets sick, dies and whatnot. So we're on our way to Age of Apocalypse movie. So that's it, guys. I mean, Hope you enjoyed my story. You know, what did you like? Tell me in the comments. What could have done better? What would you have done better? Better. What would you have done? Please like, please subscribe. Go to my Twitter page, all one word, Simply Recommended, SimplyRecommended. So more videos on the way. More what would I do in movies, more reviews, other videos I'm thinking about doing. You get a video every day from me. So take care, see you.